Same top six as we look here, Texas A&M, Florida being the two first ones out. All 6 teams take on unranked opponents in their next games. 5 of those will be on the road, so we'll see where it goes. It was a busy day yesterday, and there was a lot of things to pay attention to, even if nothing really moved around at the very top. And so to explain it all, Heather and Paul and Des with us as well. Heather, quickly I want to start with this, because I'm sure a lot of fans saw the news that the ACC canceled a bunch of games. They announced a bunch of schedule changes. And people may not understand fully why they did that. Can you explain what it means?
Sure. Everyone's talking about Notre Dame and Clemson, but we have to remember Miami is also in the mix. So the ACC said, look, we're going to evaluate these 3 teams based on a 9-game schedule. Miami still has 1 more game to play to reach that mark. And at the end of the day, what it does is it frees up December 12th to make up games from this weekend if Notre Dame, Clemson, Miami are not able to play. That's basically 1 more Saturday of a cushion for those 3 teams in contention. But Notre Dame has already locked up a spot in the ACC championship game. Clemson can do the same on Saturday with a win against Virginia Tech.
Paul, what do you think of it?
Very smart. John Swofford, the commissioner of the ACC, showed that you have to be flexible. I'm talking to you, Kevin Warren of the Big Ten. You can't just make the rules and stick with them in 2020. You have to be able to move. And what he's done, Greeny, is very transparent. He has ticketed Notre Dame and Clemson to the ACC championship game, which is a de facto play-in game. If Notre Dame wins, they're in. If Notre Dame loses close, they're also in, as well as Clemson. And he's giving those two the day off on December 12th while everyone else is playing, especially Alabama and Florida. Florida's supposed to play LSU that day. Alabama's supposed to play Arkansas. The games don't mean anything in terms of the conference play, the college football playoff. So the ACC is being very wise, very judicious, and saying to everyone else, we're taking the day off, getting ready for the playoffs.
Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people saw that news yesterday. That's a great explanation. Now, Desmond, let me come to you on this. The big story will be Ohio State going forward. Ohio State's sitting at number 4 still only having played 4 games, and their game this weekend remains sort of in the balance. What is your sense of what should happen with the Buckeyes as this thing goes forward?
If they're able to play 6 games, then I think it's a no-brainer. Now, they're going to play Michigan State. It seems like they're going to play Michigan State this Saturday. I really don't know how that's going to happen, but it just seems that everything is trending in that direction. So that'll be game number 5 for them. And then even if they don't play Michigan, let's say they don't play Michigan, there's still the Wisconsin game that people are pointing at that they can play, I guess, when the Big Ten championship game is going on. That will give them 6 games. So if I had to judge Ohio State right now, though, Greeny, with their 4 games that they've won, they've only played against 1 team with a competitive pulse, and that was Indiana. And that game was in Columbus, and Indiana gave them all they could handle. And Ohio State didn't look that good. As a matter of fact, it was the worst we've seen Justin Fields look as a quarterback at Ohio State. So when you judge their strength of schedule too, Greeny, their strength of schedule is the worst of any of the top 10 teams right now. The worst. They're 77. But Gary Barta, the spokesman for the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, continuously tells Reese Davis and that crew on Tuesday nights that BYU, that they're so low because of their strength of schedule. So there's some inconsistency there as far as the College Football Playoff Selection Committee is concerned when you're looking at Ohio State over here, but then you're looking at BYU over there, and you're talking about strength of schedule. So I would say right now, just by the eye test, Greeny, they're not one of the top 4 teams in the country. I think that Texas A&M is playing very well right now, but the Florida Gators, their offense is extremely hot, a lot of weapons, and their quarterback is probably the front runner, or he's in the hunt right now to be the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. So that's how I would look at Ohio State today, Greeny.
Heather, let's compare Ohio State for a moment to Texas A&M, because Desmond is running through it here. Texas A&M right now, yes, they have the 1 loss, but their strength of schedule is 8 in the country, and their strength of record is number 3 in the country. How close are Texas A&M and Ohio State at 4-5?
They were very close. Selection Committee Chair Gary Barta said yesterday that they considered moving the Aggies up into that number 4 spot this week. So that just shows you how precarious Ohio State's position is right now. Now, what he also said was that they like Texas A&M's defense. They're keeping an eye on the Aggies' offense, though. If you look at that game against LSU, it wasn't exactly offensive fireworks. So right now, what's keeping Ohio State ahead of Texas A&M in spite of that strength of schedule is how much they like Justin Fields, those offensive playmakers, and that win against Indiana, as Desmond pointed out.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.